everyone online hear us?
Yes.
Could whoever the iPhone is say their name, please?
Tim Crosby.
Thank you. There you go.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting for Connie to be good. Okay, so it's 3 minutes after 6 and we're gonna start the meeting. So we call the meeting to order.
I think this is the hearings, remember the hearing part?
We had said that we were going to have a hearing about a dog ordinance, and then Warren, I, and Connie have spoken about this, and we think having a hearing was a little premature, and we should have a conversation about the dog ordinances. Warren, do you want to speak to where we are, or do you want me to speak it and you correct if I'm wrong?
I'll let you speak and
Okay.
catch up at the same time.
1991, we had a dog bite ordinance that I believe was instituted correctly, and it's on the unofficial town website. Then in 2011, we had a second ordinance regarding dog bites, and the way I understand it, Hurricane Irene came along, and because of everything the town had to do, it was tabled and it never quite got ratified. Even though, I mean, it's listed as a draft, but there's signatures and an effective date, but it basically wouldn't hold up in a court of law because it didn't go all the way to fruition. Some people have said because we warned it and had the newspapers and a public hearing in 2011, we could just go ahead and do it. I called the Secretary of State and they said, no, you really need to start again. So that's where we are right now. Does that kind of summarize it? So what do you?
Well, I mean, we have an ordinance for, in respect to humans directly being bit by animals, and then this in 2011 draft was more of a dog control ordinance, not quite as pinpointed as dog bites. It was a generalization. It was trying to help keep with noisy dogs, nuisance dogs, but the ordinance of the actual dog bite lists out what we're obligated to do as far as the town and quarantining, depending on where the bite is and all that. The ordinance for the control doesn't cover the bite. So this would be a dog control ordinance that was in 2011.
So I think what we have to do right now is you and the board has to decide what we want to go forward with and start from square one.
Yeah, I mean, we need to keep a dog bite. I mean, the protocols for that are what we use all the time, and it happens, unfortunately. And then the ordinance is more of a way to help police people and their dogs, or at least have them be respectful to the town. And then it also follows up with some of the more of the vicious dog complaint stuff. Whereas we're covered under the Vermont statutes as it sits right now. So Chapter 193, Title 20 is what we abide by the statutes that govern the state. So we can, by a town body, change write our own ordinance to fine tune it to our needs and then adopt it properly. And then
Do we need it if we go by the state statute?
Depends on how the townspeople feel to some degree. It's fairly vague. You're not going to control everything. And if you try to control too much, then you're going to put a request on a party that isn't really hired to do that.
Right.
I mean, I can't police this. This is a volunteer thing that I do now. So, Mike and I. So if you start really hammering down and making it really, really strict and tight, it's going to get a little out of control, and then nobody can police it, nobody can enforce it. So why put yourself through that headache and heartache?
So should by next meeting we give the select board a decision whether we think we should go forward with it?
I mean,
Or like to revive the.
It's kind of on the table for discussion, right? I mean, people, the general public, and you, I mean, it has to be warned the ordinance regardless of what we do. So you can redraft the ordinance, fine tune the one from 2011 if you feel it makes sense. There's a couple pieces that give us a little bit more direction as a town to control or at least try to manage versus what statutes cover, which may be helpful. And some other, we have some complaints of barking and nuisance dogs. There's nothing in the statute that I can do other than ask, please keep your dog from barking all the time. I mean, there's limitations here in the original ordinance that was drafted. After the third time, if you're just not complying, and there is a small fine and possible impoundment, which may or may not deter you from not controlling your dog. So I think it's worth looking at. I'll bring it up to the table, open for discussion. We'll look at the ordinance and maybe then approach it to the town, because it will have to be warned in multiple ways and for a little while before it ever comes to fruition.
So if we give it to the town, that would be a town meeting?
It can be special warrant, it can be,
Okay.
there's a couple different ways. But I think it's brought up, there's been a few incidences that have kind of perked it, and steering us and trying to make sure we're doing our job and what we're obligated to do. So, yeah.
Okay.
Can I ask a question about the state? What are the state statutes concerning controlling dogs and dog bites and all that kind of thing?
There's a couple different articles. I mean, you can go into chapter 193, title 20, and that will cover domestic pet or wolf hybrid control. And then there's a number of statutes that fall under that give governments on how you control or how you approach or how you deal with the problem. There's also another section in that same kind of chapter that is rabies directed, where if it's a rabies incident, there's a lot less leniency for what has to happen, unfortunately. So that's where we're at. So it's a statute, it's written, it's a statewide.
I have copies in a very easy to read, the Book of Wolf that the state puts out, and it's easy to read.
Yeah, it's got good information points I've used it, referenced it, and advise you guys too, to kind of check it. I mean, I've gotten a little bit more in depth with the statutes than I really care to get involved with, but, in reading and going through it and understanding and making sure where we're at and what we're doing. So, but there is definitely, some guidelines, and they're very generic.
Good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Warren. So we have 2 sets of minutes to approve,
I thought we
folks.
were gonna discuss that. That's why I came. Are we gonna have a discussion about,
Well, usually people raise their hand and say they have a comment. 'Cause-
open it to discussion, but so,
Right.
I came to talk about my feelings about the dog ordinance.
Okay, well,
And I have a copy of the draft that Craig wrote in 2011, and he got it from, I forget what town, looked at a couple of other towns and just took information from there. And a lot of it really totally makes sense. I see what Warren's saying in terms of enforcing this. There's a lot of, it would be hard to be able to enforce some of these things unless we had somebody that was actually employed as a
constable.
person to do
Yeah.
that.
Not interrupting. This draft format isn't too bearing. What I'm saying is, if you take it to a new ordinance and you really start to fine tune it in more detail
Oh,
and description, then you're going to create a job that you don't have anybody to fill. But sorry, not to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
no, that's
Yeah,
fine.
well, as it's written, it's pretty well covered.
Pretty well covered.
Pretty well covered, yes.
Well, for example, the one I agree with a lot of it, of course, and most of it's just common sense and people being respectful of each other. And one would hope that that would be the norm, but it isn't always, I know. That neighbors would be able to work it out if there's a problem with the barking dog or whatever. But the one that really sticks in my craw, and I understand the need for it in a way, but it's the leash law, making sure that a dog is on a leash at all times. And that, I don't know, I feel like living in Vermont, I like my dogs to have the freedom to not be on the leash when I take them out for a walk. And are they completely under my control? No, but I make sure that I'm staying right close to them so that I can get them on the leash if there's a car coming or if there's people coming. But to feel that I might be liable for a fine if I have them just loose and not on the leash when we're on Simpson Brook Road is where I often walk them. Or I might take them down to the field next to the ballpark, the field that's extended there, and especially in the winter where it's really hard to find a place to walk them. I wouldn't want to keep both of them on the leash at all times, and so that's the thing that I personally feel I would like to see it not be a part of the,
In your definitions of running at large, means that a dog, and it's number one on that, is on a leash or clearly under the verbal or nonverbal control of the owner. Meaning you don't have to have it on a leash, but as you say, you walk close to, and if they obey by you and or you can physically grab them, that you're covered. It's not saying that you have to tether them at all times.
no, I see.
You have to be, and that's a discretionary thing, right? I mean, obviously dogs are dogs, so they will run and they will not always follow their owner. You know, but it's not dictating that you absolutely must have on a leash.
Okay.
Be in control. So that's definitions
Yeah.
C, number one. Yep.
Yeah, just seeing that's the thing that worries me a little bit. Will be too much regulating people's private lives too much by insisting that their dogs always be on a leash. And I mean, a lot of the things here really do make sense, but as I said, most of them are just kind of common sense. But I know that not everybody does control their dogs the way that we would like them all to. For example, picking up their messes and stuff like that is an important thing still. But that's just something that.
And if we go forward, we'll have a hearing and then more comments can come up.
Okay, I thought tonight was the.
It was going to be, and then I found out that we really, if we wanted to enact this, we should have put it in the newspaper
Right.
because the 2011 didn't have enough teeth in it still, so to speak.
So that's the reason why I came.
Okay,
I just wanted to mention that because
Okay,
I have dogs. I've had them here for 30 years, and I've always taken them out for walks, and I always have a leash with me. I'm always trying to be in control, but anybody who's been on Simpson Brook Road when they've been running has probably seen that they sometimes are a little bit far away from me and I have to rein them in. But I just hope that if we have a chance to have a hearing, we'll be able to fine tune it.
right.
Not make that quite so.
Liza, did you raise your hand?
Yes. Bob DeSerbo and I used to frequently talk about noise ordinance, but I see how primarily it's always been with he and I, neighbors' dogs. So I hope that when this gets discussed further, that we somehow address that specifically. Because I've got neighbors to the north and neighbors to the east, and I can listen to their dogs 24/7, 365 at 3:30 in the morning, at 5:30 in the morning, at midnight. And after a couple of years, the dogs should stop barking. So I'm guessing, since they're out there all winter long, the dogs have died. And at the present time, that's really sad, I know. At the present time, neither neighbor has replaced their dog because I don't hear them at those funny hours. But I mean, that kind of borders on cruelty, and maybe that's a leg to stand on when you're talking about dog ordinance, noise, barking, etc.
Hi, Allie. This is Tom.
Hi.
Your town health officer. I am a certified law enforcement officer still in the state of Maine, also the state of Florida. When I come in for the hearing, I will bring my books with me in regard to dog laws, and I'll show you how it works. And hopefully it'll give some guidance to answer a lot of questions you guys have had, especially for the dog barking. We have a certain policy that we follow in Maine and Florida. Also, whatever in regard to leash laws. What happened is when your two people are walking down a sidewalk, your pit bull attacks my poodle. You see what I'm saying? I mean, so there's certain rules and things like that, but I can explain all that in person and I'll have it in writing. So,
All right.
cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more on dogs? Shall we move on?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay, so let's call the select board meeting to order. We have 2 sets of minutes to approve from September 9th and then our special meeting September 12th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes from September 9th and September 12th. Second.
And discussion? I'm assuming that the board has read the minutes.
Yes.
Any discussion? All those in favor of accepting?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. And where is my here? Okay, now we're on to old business. We have the website committee we're gonna get to in the bottom. the new business, the PACIF grant application approval for fire alarms.
Can we cover that in my grant update?
You and Corey want to be brought forward, and I will once I get to a certain point, okay?
Oh, I can just put it in my grant coordinator update.
Oh, okay. But didn't you want to leave at 7? So,
That's good.
yeah, so I want to respect that.
Thank you.
And then the new business of the dog complaint also. Members of the public, we have Tim Crosby on Zoom. We have Steve Morella. Is he on Zoom? No?
I don't know. I don't see a Steve.
And Greg Frost is not here. Is he on Zoom?
I don't see Greg.
Okay. And then we have no correspondence. And let's put Corey right here.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So without those folks present, we're not going to take up the issue? Is that what?
Well, but this is only, don't I have it first?
This is members of the public
No, this is
section.
members of the public, yeah.
Okay.
This is not the
So we can
additional
hear
motion.
Tim.
So Tim, would you like to talk to us? Is Tim still
He's
there?
there. I'm asking him to unmute.
There you go. Yeah. I'd like to talk to you guys.
Okay.
I still haven't got anything out of the treasurer. I'm still getting letters from CoreLogic, wanting $8,500 or 8,300 and change. I just want to get down to the bottom of this. And realistically, when I reach out to the delinquent tax collector, she says that she can't get any information either. So I don't think that I think Susan's rights were violated. And the 8 payments or the 7 payments that went to my taxes and they should have went to hers should be reversed. That's it. I mean, I wrote them a letter and didn't get any response. So.
Okay. Who would like to speak to?
So I can really just quickly summarize from when we met with the finance department, the treasurer, and assistant to the treasurer doing the tax collection. And essentially from what we understand from the facts is that they were following the same procedure that they've been following year after year. And where the error lies is with CoreLogic. They were supposed to kind of pick out all of their different customers' parcel numbers and be posting taxes for those parcel numbers. They erroneously picked your parcel number and not Susan Lerman's, and so that's how your payments were getting posted by CoreLogic. The finance department is not really in the business of verifying who's paying what and making sure that they're all paying for the exact parcel number, because they're not monitoring each of our mortgages, escrow accounts, or whatever. People have different circumstances that might change during the year after year. And so the money was coming in onto your account, but it was not because the finance department was sending them your bill or saying that they should be billing it to you, but rather that CoreLogic misapplied to a different parcel. So really, from what we understand, this is an error on the side of CoreLogic, not the town, who's just following the same standard protocols. So that's why we're saying we don't really have anything to get in here or anything to offer, because it was not from a town error. It was from what it seems to be the mortgage company.
Okay, so my question is when the first letter was sent to Susan Lerman about her delinquent taxes, and I can't get that answer. When I reach out to the delinquent tax collector, she says, unfortunately, I believe that error happened when either Elaine or Anita improperly applied the payments. They're going to have to figure this out to correct. I don't think there's anything I can do on my delinquent side. So that being said, if this was a problem, why can't I get any answers? And why can't the town reverse this? And why do I have to continue to get copies of letters from CoreLogic telling me if I don't pay them, they're going to send me to collections. I pay my taxes to Townsend, and I feel that if I can't get anywhere with the town, I'm going to have to go to the Vermont Department of Taxes or the Attorney General, because this is 7 transactions, very first grade stuff, man. And if CoreLogic misapplied the payments, when I sold her that house, everything was done. Everything was set. And you know what? Somebody misapplied the payments, and I don't think it came from CoreLogic. I think it came from somebody that couldn't see down at the office.
May I say something?
Yes.
Am I allowed?
Yes.
As far as I know, and I do understand how escrow payments work, it's all done through computers. The people don't personally handle any of it. It's all done with a computer, so I don't see how the treasurer or the tax collector could be held liable for a computer error that obviously must have occurred through the bank. So to keep on dragging this out with the town seems like an endeavor of futility. It's like
Well, this gentleman's situation is he doesn't have a relationship with this CoreLogic bank, and they're asking him to pay $8,300, and he feels awkward. I owe it to my town. I don't owe it to a group of people that I have no business relationship with.
I think like straws here.
Well,
The bottom line is why can't I get answers? Why can't we know when Susan's first letter was sent to her? It's because something was screwed up internally, and she didn't know, and I didn't know until the beginning of this year, and I got a letter in June from CoreLogic. So that's when we found out about all this, and this has been going on. They said their first payment was August 2023. August 2023 was their first payment of $1,520. Their second payment was in November 23, $307. That makes no sense. And then they sent four payments in 2024, and then 1 payment in 2025. So how can this get all messed up is my question. And realistically, I'm not paying CoreLogic anything. I want the town to take responsibility on what happened here and reverse those payments, because Susan Lehrman doesn't deserve to be in the rares. She's owed money too. And it's not my responsibility to pay CoreLogic. It's my responsibility to pay the town. And I'm ready to go down there right now and write a check for what I owe them, but I want to know the facts. And if I can't get the facts, I'm going to go to the Vermont Department of Taxes or the Attorney General. That's it. So if you guys can't figure it out, I have no other choice.
and go.
As I was saying, as far as we understand the facts, the finance department was following their standard procedure, and it was not an error on the finance department's part. The way that they post taxes for mortgage companies is they essentially send out all of the tax information, and the mortgage companies are supposed to pick out the appropriate parcels for the ones that they are responsible for. And it just seems that they picked yours and not Susan's. That is the same procedure that happens for everyone in town, for all of the different mortgage companies. And sometimes errors happen, and it's unfortunate. It is also the responsibility of the folks who have their taxes in escrow, not saying you, but Susan, to be checking those reports. And it's very easy not to, because we trust that these systems work, and sometimes they don't. So what it seems is that it went unnoticed or uncorrected for a fair amount of time. And then in 2025, when that last payment was made, is when that was corrected on Susan's end. That's as far as we understand. But the facts that we gathered here from the department, from the finance department, is that they were just following the same protocols that have been working for all the rest of parcels. And this seems to be an error that originated from CoreLogic. I definitely sympathize with your frustrations. I just, from the position of the town, we don't have anything further that we can do because it was not an error from the finance department as far as we understand it.
Well, the thing is we need to know when Susan's first delinquent letter was sent to her, because that would verify right there when the problem happened. But I'm not getting anything from the town on no information, not even receipts of my tax payments, no communication at all. And I just feel that as long as this continues to be ignored, it's going to continue to be a problem. As long as me and my wife, I've owned this place for 17 years, keep getting these letters from CoreLogic, it's going to be a problem, and I'm not paying them. And I feel bad about Susan's issue owing taxes when realistically, her finance company made payments on my parcel. And when I sold it to her, and what year did we sell it? In 22. It was a whole year before. It was all done deal. And 22 is when I sold it to her. So how did this problem happen? It happened with the town because computers just aren't going to mix the numbers up, And realistically, when I reach out to Becky and she responds like that, that tells me there's an error in the town. And you guys don't know what's going on because I don't think anybody's doing anything,
I think that we are doing things. You and I spoke earlier that the select board had made a decision that we couldn't go further with it. I think you're bringing up another point that if you contact the finance office and request information just because we said we weren't taking a position, I think you as a taxpayer still have rights to ask questions and receive answers. So that's part of your question to us tonight. And you may have to go on to the tax department or the attorney general. I'm not sure how it's going to suss out.
Yeah, I just feel that, I don't know if Susan's lawyer reached out, but I believe she reached out and tried to, I don't know her. I've never really talked to her, but I think this is so basic. My wife talked to CoreLogic and said that CoreLogic has been trying to get this figured out for a long time. And this isn't this is a problem right now. It's been going on for a while.
Okay, we have a member of the audience that wants to chime in. Go ahead, Liza.
I have a lot of questions, but the number one is, why doesn't this gentleman and the other person have an attorney working on this? Why does he insist on repeatedly trying to hold the select board accountable?
Because I can't get anywhere with the treasurer. And I can't, and she tells me I have to talk to Anita, and Anita says I have to go through CoreLogic, and CoreLogic tells me I have to pay $8,300 and change. And the thing is I've been here for 17 years. Why should I have to pay taxes to CoreLogic? I pay them to the town. If there was an error on CoreLogic end or the town's end, I don't understand. I don't understand it, because you got 7 transactions with all, 2 of them are the same amount. That's it. And the others are different numbers. It just doesn't make any sense to me why they would make 4 payments in 24, 2 payments in 23, 1 payment in 25, and I don't see anything for 22. If it was on my end, it would be from the beginning.
Tim, Rob has something to say.
Liza, when you call a lawyer and you want them to do something, which I don't know if you ever have, but when you do, they want this thing called a retainer. So you have to pay a set amount of money to even get an answer or get them to do anything. So he has to be on the hook for that amount of money for a retainer to even get them to contact the town. That might be why he didn't get a hold of the lawyer.
I've had bankers and insurance companies tell me, don't escrow your taxes. They're making interest off of it. Put it in the bank make the interest yourself and pay it when it's due, quarterly or annually. Do
You're
not
missing it. We've never escrowed. We've always paid our taxes. We've never escrowed. It's Susan Lehrman that had her taxes escrowed, and they made it to my taxes, my parcel number. And the town can't reverse it and get down to the bottom of it. I mean, even the delinquent tax collector doesn't know what's going on.
Tim, somebody has a question online about this.
That's Dale.
Dale?
Yeah, this is Dale West.
Hi.
My concern is also that I've taken a side here. I read your minutes of your meeting with the treasurer and all them. To me, the problem is we took double taxes on one property parcel, too.
Yeah.
And if we did that, then the state would come in and audit us. And if he gets the state involved,
We did
you
not.
may find other errors. But the problem I see is that we took payment on one property twice.
No,
And that was supposed to go to another property.
I don't think we did, Dale.
Yeah. They forced her to pay up. She's still $3,000 behind, but still she's for over $3,000.
And Tim has made his payment that same year, then we've double dipped on his property. Period. That's a different property versus Susan's property. I mean, Susan's in a hole. And that isn't the problem. The problem is they're giving, the way I understand it, Terralogic
Can we explain what
has
happened?
gotten a bunch of all their taxes, and they send them in with a parcel number. Was I not wrong?
All right, I just muted him.
Okay.
No.
Dale, I muted you because I wanted to explain without you talking over me. The way it looks to us is CoreLogic paid Tim's property taxes. When they realized their error, they started paying Lehrman's. But it's not our understanding that parcels were paid twice by two different entities.
And 2 years later, they start making the payments. 2 years after I sell the house to her, they start making the payments on my parcel number. So if it's all computerized, how did those numbers change? Just go look at the parcel numbers between my parcel number and her parcel number, and you'll see where somebody couldn't see it and automatically, I don't know. I think it's an internal problem. I don't think the computer automatically changed the numbers, 2 years later.
I have a question for you, Tim. It was my understanding when I sat at the meeting with Elaine and Anita talking about this issue a couple weeks ago, and it was my understanding that, or my misunderstanding, that the payments had started right away. But you're saying that Susan paid on her property through her own escrow for 2 years before this issue came up?
No.
Or did it start right when she closed on the property and her payments started?
The first payment that they said that was taken out was October 25th, 2023, and then November 22nd, 2023. The first payment was $1,520. The second payment was $307.
And when was the closing?
Why would CoreLogic make a $307 payment? And it's just that, it doesn't make any sense to me. It just, something is really messed up. And I think it has to do with a bookkeeper doing an accountant's job.
So Susan had paid for a year before this started.
Yes.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden, we get 2 of her payments on 23, 4 in 24, and 1 in 25. Now, why can't I get any answers from the delinquent tax collector? Because nobody's given her answers. That's why. And it's a violation of her rights and my rights.
Tim, somebody on Zoom has a question or a comment. Go ahead. Helen, go ahead.
Tim, can you show a record of the payments that you've made on your property, that you paid them all?
We did not pay.
We didn't pay them.
We paid what we were.
Well,
We were paid what we were told to pay.
We paid.
And I mean, we were paid what we were told to pay, but we're current right now, but it's, you know,
Right, but if you didn't pay them, then you know there's a problem, right?
I had 3 different properties here, a couple properties over there. I don't make these payments. My wife makes the payments, so I didn't know anything about it.
Right, but if you know now that they were paid and it wasn't paid by you, then why would you not want to pay back or pay back whoever did pay them for you?
That's the thing. That's exactly what I want. I want the town to accept that there's a mess up and there's 7 payments on my parcel from her parcel, but it has to go through the town. I mean, I can't just go down to Susan and say, hey, I owe you $8,300 here and write her a check. It don't work that way.
Why should the town accept that it was a town mistake if it wasn't a town mistake, though? If we're telling you that the process is following,
because I sold her the property a long time.
That if we're telling you that it looks like a CoreLogic mistake, why should the town be paying for it?
Yep.
Because you pay your taxes to Townsend. If you live in Townsend and you pay property taxes, you pay them to the freaking town. You don't pay them to the neighbor. Or you don't pay them to a CoreLogic, you pay them to the town.
And the taxes got paid to the town. So what we're saying is that as far as we can tell from the facts, from what we've heard from the finance department, it is not a town error that initiated this. So why are we looking for the town to cop up to this mistake when it wasn't the town's mistake?
I want to know when the first delinquent letter was sent out to Susan, because that will be the first start of the investigation. And reality is it was a screw up in the town. And I don't think the computers just changed their numbers, because the computers don't change their numbers.
So there are human beings that put numbers into the computers.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And there's human error. And
there's humans on both sides.
Human error.
CoreLogic is not just a supercomputer. CoreLogic has human beings working there that may have made a mistake. So what I'm saying is just I don't think it's fair to just automatically say everything is wrong because the town did it wrong, when as far as we have gone and investigated, we have not been doing nothing. I mean, we have been looking into this the last few weeks. And when we've met with the finance department, it seemed very clear to us that they were following the same protocols, the same procedures, and what happened is that CoreLogic took up the wrong parcel. So as far as we know, it is not the town error, it is the CoreLogic error. And I know they have computers and things and whatever, but like, just as much as the town can make a mistake, so can CoreLogic.
Okay, so why didn't I get a delinquent tax letter? If I didn't pay my taxes, or when was the first delinquent tax letter sent to Susan? Because you know what, this has been going on way too long. CoreLogic tried to get a hold of the town. Susan's lawyer tried to get a hold of the town. I've tried to get a hold of the town. I've tried to get information out of Becky. I can't get any information at all. And I shouldn't have to go hire a lawyer to do anything. This is really, really, really first grade stuff. You got 7 transactions. And if the town can't figure it out and keeps on blocking me on every level and say, oh, it's not a town issue, you're going to have to deal with CoreLogic. No, I'm going to the Vermont Department of Taxes. And you know what? The town needs to be audited, because this is a violation of my rights and Susan's rights. And you know what? If she's delinquent on her taxes, she needs a delinquent tax letter. You can't double tax her and just tell her, oh, your house is going to go up for tax sale if you don't pay us. No, it don't work that way. Everything was set up when I sold her the house. Everything was supposed to go to escrow. And realistically, even if freaking CoreLogic did make the wrong payment on my parcel, it should all be able to be reversed. This shouldn't have gone on for 2 years.
How do we pull this together and end it, do you think, guys?
So Susan doesn't have a record of the first time she was sent that delinquent tax bill? She doesn't have that record, or did she ask for it?
I asked for it.
And what was the answer you were given when you asked for it?
Not 21.
I was given, I'll go on my computer, I'll try to find it on my computer.
I'm asking because we've dealt with some issues before of like having trouble communicating with the treasurer's office and stuff, so I just wondered what kind of a response you were given and what kind of record keeping that we do when we send out these types of delinquent letters, how long we keep those records for, et cetera.
Yep. She said, Becky said that she would have to do some digging when she got home, but she hasn't, I emailed her, I emailed Elaine, last Friday, asking them all the information, and I get no response. I mean, Becky, she usually returns, but she's probably busy. But it's Elaine's responsibility to get us this information, and so we can continue on our investigation, so we can figure out exactly what happened and get it fixed. Because I'm not the type of guy to just say, "Oh, screw you guys, CoreLogic," and throw it in the garbage and say, "Screw you" to my neighbor. I'm not that way. I'm the way, I can write the town a check for the total amount right now, anytime, but I want it right. And it's not fair for Susan to have to deal with this. She double paid.
So, board, how do we want to go?
Well, we did discuss and motioned and approved a directive to the treasurer, I want to say 2 meetings ago, or was that 3 meetings ago, about the lineage of this issue, right? I'm not, when I sat in the meeting, I didn't have in front of me the full lineage from when the property changed hands. I had from when the payments, these 7 payments started. I'm wondering if we should at least get that documentation together and look at it again.
The other thing that
I want to reiterate that the select board met and made a motion and voted that it was not a town issue. If you are making a motion to now change that vote, I think you need to be clear about that.
I don't think I am, but I also didn't have the full understanding that she paid for a full year before this started. So that's the part that I'm getting now confused about.
Right, because
Your
got a mortgage.
Your treasurer has no one in the state that she can get advice from on certain circumstances like this. She can't make a phone call to somebody to the state.
It's right here.
And what was her answer?
Yeah, VLCT, Vermont League of Cities and Towns, said that if the taxpayer's financial institution is making payments to the wrong parcel, it is the taxpayer's responsibility to contact their financial institution, ascertain why that error is being made, and for the financial institution to contact the treasurer or tax collector to attempt to discern where the mistake is being made. Mm-hmm. So, again,
and Susan Laramie was told, if I'm not wrong, that there was something wrong.
Yes.
2.5 years ago.
From what we found out as we met with Connie was there, with Elaine and Anita, is that, yes, Susan was being made aware that she needed to address this issue with CoreLogic.
So when was the first delinquent sent?
I cannot tell you that right now. I don't have that. I cannot tell you that right now.
That's what we need to investigate to make sure
I would encourage you to come to the town hall and speak with Elaine. I would encourage you to follow up with Becky if she can get that information that she said she was going to, but you haven't heard yet. But I mean, we're just kind of going in circles right now, and we cannot get you that specific piece of information right here at this meeting.
And I
just want to say one more thing. When I contacted Becky, she said, unfortunately, I believe the error happened with either Elaine or Anita in properly applied payments. They're going to have to figure out how to correct. I don't think there's anything I can do on my delinquent side. All I have to go by is what they give me.
Yeah.
I do believe Anita said that the mortgage company misapplied payments, but all of this pre-delinquency, and I have nothing to do with the current tax collection. But still, if she was delinquent in 2022 when I sold her property because the payments were misapplied, which they weren't, or did they get applied somewhere else? So I just want to know how when this became an error and when they, and I know when CoreLogic contacted me, but it's,
So, Tim, as one person, I feel as a taxpayer that everybody in this building has the need to respond to your questions. I mean, you can ask questions and people should not blow you off. They should give you answers. It might not be the answer that you're looking for, but I believe that we need to respect you as a taxpayer. And if that doesn't happen, let us know. And let us know how you get going on your side. And in the interest of everybody waiting here for this meeting to proceed, we're gonna head along now, Tim, okay?
Yeah, one question. Is Elaine there?
No.
Okay. You got my email. I CC'd you on the email. I CC'd Ted Kramer on the email. And I just want answers. I want to make sure that she got my email and we can just get this resolved.
Okay. So we'll keep talking. We'll still keep being good neighbors, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, so Steve Morella is not here. He wrote us a little, I don't know how this came in or when it came in, but Steve has described problematic vehicle activity on Deer Ridge because there is no dead end sign or no outlet sign. Cars come up the road thinking it's a throughway. In addition, there are cars that appear to be scoping out the area. He is requesting that a dead end or no outlet sign be put at the end of Deer Ridge Road. Our highwayman is not here, but our ex-highwayman is here. What does that entail?
Putting up the sign.
And do we have those signs or we have to buy them?
We may have.
Okay. And is it something where if we say, oh, just let's go do that, then everybody in town's gonna want one, or I don't know?
I mean, we have a lot of dead-end roads in town. Not all of them say it's a dead-end road.
Right.
They probably should say they are.
And I know that there have been people talking about trucks coming and kind of looking around, and people get very nervous. And if there was a dead-end sign, they know that they're there for no good reason.
Okay.
So,
Really?
Is
that how that works?
Yeah.
That
Yes.
makes zero logic today. Yeah.
Works on Sterling Drive in Boston, doesn't it?
What?
Works on Sterling Drive in Boston over 408 trucks. They pile in there all the time. Sorry.
Works everywhere. Kramer Bridge.
I see Andy's hand. I was just waiting for Rob to finish. Are you
Finished.
Okay, go ahead, Andy.
Not really.
One time there was a no outlet sign there on the signpost.
Okay.
Don't know when it disappeared, but it was there at one point.
Good to know.
And there have been several cars casing the neighborhood.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion to direct Jeremy to place a no outlet sign at the end of Deer Ridge Road.
Second? Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, opposed? The ayes have it.
I have 3 that I heard. How are you voting?
Everybody is yes.
Rob?
I don't think
Oh, yeah, I'm all about signage. More signs better.
Okay.
No outlets, dead ends, don't come on.
I'd like to make a motion to go out of order and attend to the grant coordinator's report since she's about to leave at 7 o'clock.
Okay,
We have the second.
Second vote.
Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Go ahead.
all right, the first thing is that we received our reimbursement for FY25 paving grant. The grant was for $200,000. We spent less than that. I think the bid came in, I don't remember the exact number, but anyway, I expected us to get about $112,000 back. We ended up getting $115,394.06. Since that was for the paving on Route 35, which has already been completed. With those funds, we were able to deal with the salt shed floor. Some of that reclaim that we were doing was at State Forest. What was the reclaim?
Dam Road,
sorry. We did crack sealing on Wyndham Hill Road. And there was one more project I have listed, East Hill.
A bridge repair at the end of East Hill.
Yeah, the bridge repair at the end of East Hill. So we were able to do quite a few projects with just that one budget line. We received the decision, or yesterday, on our pedestrian grants. We had one as a scoping study and the other one to fix a small amount of sidewalk in front of the high school. We will not be receiving either of those grants. That decision just came yesterday, and I spoke to Colin Britton from Wyndham Regional, and he and I are going to meet later in the week to find out what happened with that, as Wyndham Regional basically met with Jeremy and I a couple of times. We put those grant applications together. He finalized them and submitted, so we're going to have a chat later in the week to find out if we'll still be eligible to apply next year, or what his feeling is about those decisions. The fountain project is ongoing. There's a little reorganization of the project going. I have put in some phone calls to some companies to get a quote for the water line that comes from the school. Temporary lighting and sign package grants that have not been decided yet, and the USDA project is still ongoing. Right now I have a PACIF application, it's in the packet, to get our 50% reimbursement for the work that Countryside Alarms did at the town garage. The total for that project was $4,219, and we're looking to get our 50% reimbursement of $2,109. So today I was hoping that before I can submit the application, I just need Ally's signature on the application. There is a small piece of this that I didn't send to Connie. That's just a document explaining, where was it? Number 5, I said see attached document. I basically just explained why the fire alarms needed updating and how that benefits us in terms of our insurance claims. So was
there an explanation of why they went over what they originally quoted? Countryside?
That I didn't get a good understanding of. It looks like they came out twice. There was
There's
two.
a garage. There's a problem at the garage.
Except I asked them each time, was this going to add to the cost, and they said no.
Oh, okay.
So
the first time they came out, it was $2,989, and the second was $1,230. So both of those are being submitted for the reimbursement. I think there's a certain amount of things we can try to get reimbursed.
Description on the work done? Was there any description on the invoice of the work done?
No. I can show you. Do you want to look at these?
I just thought when we asked it, 1 year, we missed it by a year, and then the quote went up about $1,000. I didn't think it was $4,000. When we originally, remember when we visited this?
Right.
And then it got kind of shuffled off, and then we revisited it.
It took
was out of date, it wasn't in compliance with the state, and we got $3 million worth of equipment sitting up there, and we want to make sure it's protected. I mean, 4,000 isn't the problem. I was just curious on if there was an explanation of why it went up.
I wasn't part of that conversation. I'm not sure.
I became part of it because they couldn't get in, and nobody was there to let them in. So I went up to let them in, and then they were like, "Oh, we can't do this because something about the height." And I said, "Well, we have a firm quote on this. Is this going to?" And I had to call their company, and they said, "No, it's not going to affect the price. We should have had this conversation before. It's on us." So maybe we should go back and ask them.
We covered the lift. The lift got covered because we used it in conjunction with the lighting retro. That had to steer through that because they were. I don't understand why you can come and look at a job. I don't understand you're going to get 25 feet in the air and how you're going to get there without figuring it out personally. But
right. It sounds like they said that they weren't going to charge us for that, and possibly they did. I believe this is due October 1st, but I can hold off if we can get that original quote and see if they'll honor it.
Do we have the original?
I'm sure we have.
Okay, I can email PACIF tomorrow and ask if we can get some kind of extension, or if, I'm not sure if the deadline is October 1st or October 30th. I was told October. So I can, if we want to hold off on this and try to sort this out, I can email PACIF tomorrow and just let them know. I have no idea.
Special.
Huh?
If need be, if we can do a quick special.
Right, because we want to get reimbursed for the correct amount and not have their own documentation.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that.
Sure. Okay. So we're not going to sign that. Then Rob just brought to my attention that there was some new funding coming out for the ash trees and taking them down along our roads. So I'm going to be researching that. And I believe that is all I have this week, unless anybody has any questions.
Thank you. Anybody have questions? And then I was gonna ask to go out of order to take Corey, and then we'll get on with the rest of the meeting.
All right.
I have a question.
Will you have a question?
Water, when we had the common committee meeting, you had said Rob Wright had said something about being able to work on that, and you're gonna approach him, did that fall through?
I haven't asked him yet. We talked months ago about that line, that water line, and in the meantime, then the Commons Committee had asked me to call Lindwell about that water line, so I didn't revisit the conversation with Rob about the water line.
Did we have the meeting last week?
So,
Just wondering.
okay, anything else about Katie's report other than thank you?
On your way back through, you got me on something?
Corey, would you like to go?
I'd like to make a motion to go out of order and address Corey Sicklin on the website.
Okay.
I have to take a second and a vote.
I'm sorry.
Who's seconding?
Second.
And a vote? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, go ahead, Corey.
All right, thanks. This hopefully will be short. Our 3-year project is over. We started this, not 3, about 2.5 years ago in terms of the website development, new website for the town. And the committee had 7 people on it. We met this afternoon, unanimously have recommended EcoPixel, which is on the sheet that you guys have, so that we're down to 2. So we've got EcoPixel on the left. You see they're in columns there. The left-hand column is EcoPixel, the right-hand column is Civic Plus. EcoPixel is out of Vermont, Civic Plus is out of Manhattan, Kansas. In terms of the cost, they're pretty much going to be the same. If you see on the bottom there, the red box, EcoPixel is about, this is for 3 years now. 3 years, that's important to note. Our budget is $4,000 a year, so we clearly come within the budget each year. And that $11,000 is a 3-year definite number versus Civic Plus, because they don't, they have something that we are required to buy, which is it's a proprietary content management service. To make a very long story short, we, with Civic Plus, unless we pay them extra money, we will not own our content. With EcoPixel, if we were to terminate them after 3 years and say we're going to somebody else, we own it all. So we get to take it. And so when you do the numbers in that red box, they're pretty much the same when it comes right down to it. And we, the committee figured that EcoPixel was the best bet because they are local. They've been in Vermont for almost 2 decades now. They have towns such as what's the one kind of
Pulteney, Richmond, Waitsfield, Waterbury.
And the beauty about, I think we agree that the beauty of a local Vermont business like this is they know our nuances. They know what the legislature wants. They know what the sunshine law is, the open government law. So they're dialed in. They're raring to go, and I'm surprised, quite frankly, that they came in below our budget. Connie and I got a letter from one person. I'll leave you with this, who almost laughed at us, saying, "How do you guys really expect to develop a website for $4,000?" And the guy basically said, we're going to still bid, but you're looking at $15,000 to do something like this, and they never submitted a bid anyway. As I was telling Andy, what these companies have done are smart. As you can see, they basically divided the cost in 3 years. So we don't have to come up with $15,000 that first year for development, and that will just be spread across 3 years. And we should have a pretty darn good website by January. At which time, hopefully, we'll be able to also formally thank Rick Hagen for everything he's done. He is responsible for all of the migration we're going to do to this new website. He's got the documents, and he's willing to give them to us, which he really didn't have to do, but he is. And he's been a team player on this the whole way. I've kept him informed. as we've gone along. And so the committee unanimously recommends EcoPixel.
Okay, and so this money is gonna be split in 3 sections?
This is over 3 years, so this is the yearly cost.
Mhm.
You lock into a 3-year contract.
So we're always going to be guaranteed of less than $4,000 by doing that 3-year deal, which is pretty good. As I say, the one person that came to us and said, "You're looking at over 10 grand just for the first year." That was pretty ridiculous. So it's $3,800 per year for 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, all of these contracts just expire. We either renew them, go to a different contractor, say, "No, we love what you're doing for us." These towns that have been with EcoPixel have been with them for a long time because they know Vermont and they know website requirements in Vermont. And this is, I would respectfully suggest, this is somewhat of a steal, unless I'm coming in under budget. It just is. These days, it just is. I wish it wasn't so.
Okay, so do we need
Make a motion to accept EcoPixel's bid for an official town website, a 3-year contract at a cost of $3,857 per year.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So 4.
So when I get that out, I'll share with you the contract and we'll make sure it's all right.
Yep, and Connie. Thank you.
I've got to go meet a wedding couple that's getting married in November. So see you later.
All right, bye. Okay, so now if I'm correct, we're on to Greg Frost's request for sand contract. He's not online?
I do not see a grant.
Okay, or a Wyndham WC?
No.
Okay. So basically Greg, who's the operation director of our school district here, is asking if we would sell him sand. And so shall we have a discussion? I guess we need to motion it and have
Or
discussion.
you could table it until he raises it.
He should be here to
Give us
tell us
the
the specifics.
Well, he has written to us, but if
No,
you
that
want,
he did not. That was based on a conversation. He came in and had a conversation.
okay, so we'll table this until he is here. The warrants, Rob.
Make a motion to pay the warrants starting at number 1 payroll, amount of $14,633.33. Number 2, payroll tax amount of $6,707.90. Number 3, general fund, the amount of $11,574.46. Number 4, highway fund, the amount of $63,451.09. Number 6, fire pump, amount of $428.94 for a total of $96,795.72.
Second. Auctioneer.
Okay. And we'll vote on that, and then I have a comment about the education tax. So all those no.
Steve, was there something you wanted with the mower or?
We were gonna approve it, but hold the check.
Okay.
From last month. It's in there now.
It's in there now.
Okay, so we should hold it still.
Yes.
Okay, and where is that? That's on highway?
Highway,
And how much is that one to be paid?
20,500.
So we're not pulling it out of the warrants.
We're just gonna hold the check until we're done with the mower.
Yeah, to be returned lower.
Let's see. 20,500. You're right.
Okay, do we have a motion?
We do. Second.
And all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? My comment about the education bill is I met with Heidi at the supervisory union the other day to try to get an understanding of the paperwork they sent out for all the expenses, et cetera. And it was almost $4 million, so I'm not quite sure how our first quarter could be less than $1 million.
They're gonna catch us on the 5th quarter.
Well, if they would forget about the difference, I'd be fine, but it's something I think I should ask. Okay, we have no Jeremy tonight. And the treasurer gives us the normal, she did give us the revenue report as we requested, and it's right there with the piece of cardboard on it if anybody wants to look at it. We get the normal bank account of 19,700. Is that the total?
Here's the closing ledger. Closing available.
The closing ledger is $783,090.69, and then the swing account is $30,000. 30,000, yeah. Okay, then the treasurer, I'm looking for the clerk, it's right here on the back of PACIF.
Yep.
Okay, and the clerk for the first 2 weeks of September brought in $1,951, and that's just for your information. And then the chair, in the packet, we have a regional notice of planning hearing on Wyndham Regional Commission request for a determination of energy compliance. I haven't really read through this, so do we have discussion on this?
I think you were just letting folks know.
I'm gonna show Steve, who's our new energy person. Not you, Steve, Steve Overton.
That's September 30th.
Yeah, okay, and then we did the one of the mini split people are coming on Friday at 8:30 to talk about that, and also Monday we're starting the reviews with the highway department people, everyone with the exception of Jeremy. And then we go on to town plan approval. That's you?
I make a motion to approve 2025 Townsend Town Plan.
Second. Any discussion?
Read through it, it looks great. Thank you, Andy, Planning Commission, folks that you guys work with Wyndham Regional. It's a really good plan.
So let's vote on it, folks. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
What were the heat pumps for? What were the heat pumps for?
We were just gonna talk about would it be feasible to have a heat pump here? They keep buying these kind of crummy air conditioners that don't work, and it's like $300 times 3 every year. And would a heat pump work? I don't know if they would, but Cody Jeffers is gonna come and look at it.
The sizing is going to affect your capacity of your service feeding the building.
Yeah.
On the town plan, is there something that the select board needs to sign and send off because the expiration is at the end of September?
It needs to be in the minutes that it was approved.
Just in the minutes that it's
And
approved.
There we go.
then it has to go to Wyndham Regional, and they have to basically, their executive committee has to approve it.
And
And then
who's,
there'll be a hearing for the energy determination on the town plan as well, which will Wyndham Regional take care of.
Okay.
so there's nothing that the select board needs to do other than reflect it in
It
the
has to be
minutes?
reflected in the minutes that it was approved on the state.
Okay, just want to make sure that I don't have to do anything else. We're just reflecting
Don't
it
have to
in
do
there.
anything.
Okay. And thank you for everything. And we did do our vote.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, we're on to Laura's letter. Laura, would you like to speak to it?
Sure. So I've had a number of people come out and look at the tree, none of which have ever seen one like it before. It really is a rare and quite beautiful tree. The dawn redwoods are already rare, and a bonsai dwarf dawn redwood is even more unusual. I had the Tessa, one of the county foresters came out and looked at it. Henry Carr came out and as an arborist and looked at it. neither one of them had ever seen anything like it. I've got somebody else coming out to look at it on Thursday. So I just want to reiterate how rare and precious this tree is. I'm trying to get it on some kind of registry or some kind of way to protect it so that damage doesn't occur to it again. So basically, the arborist came, and he was a very kind and decent man, and did the work and told me what to do to try to protect the tree because of the drought. He thought it might have been shocked. He wasn't sure what the end result was going to be, but he did the work for free because he felt so bad about the tree being damaged the way it was, which I thought was really a very kind thing to do. So I just wanted to say his name and let people know how kind he was. And he said for me to just water it, and hopefully this rain will help it. And we won't know what kind of damage, if there's any long-term damage, probably until next year.
Okay.
So it's basically you don't have to pay anything because this is a really decent human. But I do want to reiterate how rare this tree is, and I am diligently searching for a way to protect it. So, for a lot of people have been interested in the tree.
Good, okay. We will move on to the Townshend Common Committee request to the Select Board. Does somebody want to reiterate what this says for the?
I think hopefully there is a piece of paper in here that
There is. I can read it. It says the Common Committee met on the 16th and they have the following requests. The gazebo budget. The committee is requesting that any fees charged for the use of the common be posted to the common budget. This will help in maintenance and upgrade of the common fountain and gazebo. 2, fall flowers on the gazebo. The committee requests that Connie be reimbursed for the purchase of mums for the flower boxes at the cost of $40.32. And 3, ramp for the gazebo. Laura Richardson and her husband are volunteering to build a simple ramp for the gazebo. They would donate the wood and the labor, and the town would provide the gravel or road builder material. Okay, so I think there's a couple of things to comment on, board.
Can I just read, in terms of the $40.32, that number is high. It's down to a different number because I didn't need as many mums.
Okay. So my feeling about the first one is that we only bring in about $200 for rental for the common from the Pickle Festival and the hospital. We get $100 for each of those. And that's it for the year. And I think it might be a nightmare trying to give expenses and how they're book kept and things like that, especially at this point. My suggestion might be when we start budget to increase the budget for the common to an amount that would support that. And that would begin next July. And you don't have any rentals before then anyway. So it's just that to try to come in here and not get it and not understand it, it's just going to be a bit of a nightmare. And I think we can just fix it with the board deciding on a budget figure for that. So that's my thought on that. The flowers, we'll pay that even if we're over on the line item. I think that that's okay. And I appreciate that you're really willing to build it, but I don't think it's that bad the way it is. And if we build something that's not ADA compliant, we might be making our trouble worse.
We've already checked into that, making it ADA compliant.
Would you like to speak to that?
Sure. The basic concept, from what I have been told, is that for every, oh God, I should have written it down. For every so many feet, you do a certain foot amount of slope. And from what I've got, it would be like a 6-foot slope from the step up to the ground, which wouldn't be very far. As far as the ramp itself is concerned, as long as we use a material that packs tightly so that nobody will get their wheelchair or their walker or whatever sinking down into it, it would be fine. And it would go, the way that we planned it, the material would actually go out over the edges of the ramp and onto the ground so that there wouldn't be a place for people to catch their feet on the sides. It would be kind of a rounded.
And what type of wood would you be using?
Oak, 6x6 oak, a 6x6 oak beam and 6-inch wide, probably 4x6 boards. My husband gets a very good deal with wood where he works and he's willing to pay. Because we have talked to some people who have a hard time getting up that step. You know, it's
well, and
it's
it also,
a step.
We have talked about raising the level of the common with repair of the holes and things like that. So I think if we're going to raise the common, then it's going to be making that lip less large. So,
yeah, but you still don't want to have it go all the way up to the gazebo because of rot.
Mm-hmm.
So
I thought the whole part of putting it down so it's one step is to get away from the ADA and all the ramps and everything else. Because we talked before about having it up, and then you had to have a ramp that went all the way around and this other stuff. So it's like we went with having it lower, and now we're going back to the ramp within a year.
It's like the equivalent of
so
a half. It's a half a step.
We modified something to have it be one way, and now we're going to go back to whatever.
well, when we discussed building the gazebo, we discussed having it at ground level. It's not at ground level. It's a good 6 or 7 inches above the ground. And there are people that are having trouble.
Compliance, and it was at the one step was appropriate for ADA.
Yes.
Am I right or wrong?
That's what
I was there, Laura. My eyes just were working and the mouth wasn't.
What was that?
I was watching and listening.
One step does not qualify for ADA.
It's a half a step, really.
Okay, it's like, yeah, it's 6 to 7 inches high. But all right, well, if we don't have to put in ADA, that's fine. It's just I have heard people say that they're having elderly people are having a hard time getting in there. So, like, you know, just out of respect for people.
Yeah, I mean, I personally, one person I would like to research just doing some of the hard packed gravel to make that lip a little less of a, instead of wood, instead of, you know, it becomes a mowing issue.
Handrail.
Yeah.
Slip and falls. Doesn't get shoveled in the winter.
Mm-hmm.
Bike rail.
Right. So.
Hey, this is Dale Ross again. I was at that meeting.
Okay.
Tony.
Go ahead, Dale.
We hear you, Dale.
Oh, you're back on mute, Dale. Back on mute. You gotta unmute.
Sorry, guys. I was at that meeting, and what Laura and them were talking about was actually making a dirt mound in the front of that lip and bringing it a lot closer up so people with walkers and stuff could actually walk up to the surface. And then actually put the green fake grass, whatever thing you want to call it, AstroTurf stuff, back on top of it. So it made it more, not necessarily a step. I thought it weren't a bad idea, but that was what it was.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to do it. It's just something we thought might help people.
Well, I think the gravel ramp to ameliorate it would be a good first step.
But if you put the gravel up against the gazebo,
I'm not
it's
gonna-
a rot issue.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't go up against the gazebo, then there's gonna be a gap there.
The wood was going to be covered with the dirt to kind of help give it structure so it didn't break away or wash away part and give away.
How about I'll talk to Jeremy about it and report back to you folks next meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
But thank you for that offer, Laura, and tell your hubby thank you too. That was nice of you guys. The only other thing I had that I heard from the minutes of the meeting that isn't on here is the light and the electric bill. And I had already done that and reported it to the last, when we first had the gazebo done, people were concerned with the light staying on. And we decided that it was nice to make the place welcoming at night if you wanted to sit there and feel comfortable there. And it also, if you wanted to sit there and cause trouble, maybe it would deter people. I did do the research and reported back to the committee that it was a couple of bucks difference from one month to the next month without or with the light on. So I personally feel, as you know, you drive by Town Hall, it's not dark, the light is on in the front, gives you pride in your town and the things we've accomplished here.
Well, I don't think the committee as a whole was concerned about the light. I think they were just wondering why the bill was so high. Like $80-something or whatever. We couldn't figure out why it would be that high. I personally like having the light on.
Okay, so we'll keep the light on and
I
off.
wasn't the only person at that meeting.
No, but you're the only person here now.
Yes.
So I will research the bill and I'll let you know.
Yeah, it just seemed weird that it would be so high for one light.
Right. So, and I remember like $40, so I don't know why it would be that high. And I don't know what bill you even looked at because I don't have it.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we'll move on to the.
Our pedestal feed in the common is open to use, but where the meter socket lives, and it's fed from there, so power might have been used at a different source.
Well, we have that box locked.
Okay.
No, well, you can get into.
Well, maybe it's been fixed, but the ordinances are basically non-existent. A while ago.
No, but I fixed that, I think, and I put a new lock on it.
With the outlets underneath the panel at the gazebo, not at the gazebo, but the outlets at the.
Oh, you're saying if they use them at the gazebo?
I don't know, is there any work done on the common where somebody plugging something in? It could be something that bumps your bill a little bit.
Was it Pickle Festival?
Yeah.
It could have been. It could have been. So, because I remember like $8 for the bill. And it was less.
$27 each month.
Yeah.
I
So,
think that's how we came up with the idea of putting the money from the common rentals to the
And that was the same month as
common because.
Drake's Cottage there too, right? And they had
Mhm.
music hooked up there.
It wasn't just 1 month, that's why the committee was
Oh, I see.
questioning.
They drop their own box, pay for it, it's a separate box that they use for all their main cooking, but the other common features are available to use for general public.
okay.
Just curious.
Yeah. But I think we should turn the light back on. I think it
I do
looks,
too.
I think it looks a lot more homey New England. What did you call it? What's that TV show?
Which part?
What's that TV show? The romantic TV thing?
Lobo?
No.
Hallmark?
Hallmark Movie Channel. That was it.
I've said a lot of things.
I know you do.
I'm sure that was-
Okay, so now the gazebo committee requests the planning commission bid for the upgrade of the door for ADA accessibility and approve and fund.
I make a motion to accept the bid, pay for the bid. What are you doing? Exactly
Probably
is the
both.
request.
Accept and fund.
Approve, whatever.
To approve the
And
bid
the
from.
electric is separate, so
Okay.
I would suggest a not to exceed of 2,000, and the electric would be less, but.
So to accept the bid for the front door to the town hall for ADA compliance from Door Control Inc. in the amount of $17,640 to be paid out of the town hall ADA reserve account. So,
It's not an ADA
it's not the
reserve.
ADA reserve, it's the town hall reserve. And to authorize additional electrical work not to exceed $2,000.
Do I hear a second? Discussion.
Yes. This is just the hardware, same doors, hardware to open and close.
Same doors.
Same doors, just the
Same
hardware.
doors.
Yeah, okay.
If you're looking at it, you can see I guess you can't from that angle, but
No, I
it's
understand.
still, panic hardware,
Well, I remember our conversation before, I'm just one,
yeah.
if you look at this diagram that you have here,
And
it's
then
got
there'll be
different
a
doors.
bar across the top with motorized arms that open and close them.
So the aesthetics don't change, it's just the mechanics.
The aesthetics change because it's different hardware on the panic bar.
Point being, you walk up to a green door, glass.
Still the same door.
So the outside will not change at all.
That's what we had talked about before, I just wanted to.
Yeah, the outside doesn't change, the inside will be different.
Yep. Any more discussion?
No.
No? All right, let's get a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unopposed?
All right, the ayes have it.
Yeah, the ayes have it.
Request.
Is there a reason that you're opposed? It's just a short version of it.
I think we're gonna end up getting into a big can of worms with the electric.
They
And
always do.
I know, and I'm just not ready to go there yet myself.
Not me.
No, no, I'm not looking at you.
I was looking at it.
Honestly, that might give a lot of people the idea of what it's gonna really take to do a major overtaking in this building, is that, okay, if you go out there and you have to do this, this, and this to get the electric to even run 2 doors, it might let people understand that, yeah, you start going into this whole entire place, that's gonna be like, you know, a serious
Well, and we
undertaking.
can't get it, we can't, somebody in a wheelchair can't get into the town clerk's with these doors. You know, that doesn't fix the entire building at all, so.
I didn't say it did,
No.
all I said is
Well,
that this might be one little tiny piece that lets people understand what it's gonna really take to get all of this whole entire place, as far as plumbing, electrical, ADA, all the other different things. I mean, there's a lot to be done here,
Yeah,
and it's extreme amount of money.
Every journey starts with one step.
Yes, it does.
Oh, really?
Pandora's box.
Jeez.
that's
I
exactly.
made it 48 years and never knew that.
You did? I'm so glad I taught you. I didn't know it.
I almost.
All right,
made the whole
guys,
thing all
we,
over.
we have a vote, the motion passed, and we're gonna move on. Let's see, where are we?
Pumpkin
Common
Fest.
request for the Pumpkin Festival.
I make a motion to approve Lou Gray's request to use the Townshend Common for the Pumpkin Festival on October 18th. Set up and at 6 a.m., breakdown by 6 p.m. and authorize Ali Evans to sign on behalf of the board.
Okay, and we have been given an insurance, and I believe there's no fee,
And waive the fee.
yes.
I thought the 18th was a Friday.
Oh,
I think they did decide to do it on a Friday. I think, I remember
Is it
that.
is it Saturday?
I think that
It's a
they
Saturday.
decided to do it on a Friday.
It's a Saturday.
Oh, it's a
18th is
Saturday?
a Saturday.
Okay.
Are you sure?
I think so. Last I checked, 2 seconds ago. Computers, they make mistakes.
yes, Tim Crosby.
Somewhere.
Okay, did we have a second? And all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, then the PACIF grant applications.
That already happened.
Yep, I'm just reading it out loud. And then the dog complaint. And we have a dog complaint. I think I only have 1 page of this. Is it? Oh, here it is. Okay. We have a dog complaint filed by Christina Cerrone and from Hardwood Place, and I'm not sure what we do with it. Warren, do you want to speak to it as the constable?
I think as the statutes read out that you guys as a select board body review the complaint, and then it's up to you whether or not you want to have a hearing to move anything forward on it. And if you so choose, you have 7 days to make your mind up on how you're going to act on a complaint if you think it's legit. There are some guidelines there that would make it legitimate. And as the board, you guys decide.
7 days from today,
The
or,
day you receive the complaint.
well, it's dated the 10th. When did we receive it?
You received
It's in
the
the
actual
email.
on the 22nd. The email was the first day of the written complaint. Yes.
Yep, that's the date that they did the complaint form, but they sent it.
Okay, okay.
That's when it started.
Okay, well, this complaint form says 9/10. That's why I'm
When
asking.
it's, in reading of the statutes, it's filed. When it's filed.
Warren, is the second for the person?
I didn't hear what you said, Andy.
I believe the statute refers to fighting a person, not another dog.
Correct.
So, following the protocol that's there, you're already, you know, I mean, maybe a good approach, but it's not what's actually called for.
Correct.
Yeah, as a select board body, they can read the statute, and yes, the complaint was filed, and yes, it was a dog that was was deceased from the attack. I'm not saying that was the case. The statute writes human, so in my eyes, then you really don't have, unfortunately, any grounds to go on to continue with the filing and a hearing. It's unfortunate. The dog owner that lost their dog is obviously extremely upset, is nervous and concerned about other neighborhood dogs and or humans for this particular dog, you know, and any dog that could have this chance. There was some misrepresentation or misleading maybe in backroom talk when the ordinance had a little bit of a notion of dog to dog or domestic animal to the dog hybrid to a domestic animal pet, because they list other things than just a dog as being a domestic pet. So in the ordinance and draft, there was a little leg to stand on, not a ton, at least to move on. The way the state looks at it, at least under chapter 193, title 20, in the whole filing of the complaint, it is person, dog to person. So.
What is the law if a dog attacks, say a dog attacks my dog and I beat the crap out of it? I've got a leg to stand on, right?
Yeah, if it's, I don't know how that's going to go, so I'm not going to bring out details. I will report to the select board everything that I've done since the day I heard about the complaint, which was the same day. I have made multiple visits and both parties, and have been fair to both parties, bring everything to light, and giving them information on where they stand as best as I can, as far as the statute let them do. Advised them, I gave them both the copies of the vicious dog complaint form. I gave them copies, as I did the select board, Connie and Ally, in regards to some of what you're asking. There's a specific statute that if your dog is on my property and it's not leased, not under your control, and it's doing harm to me or a pet, I can euthanize it.
Okay.
You might have some good proof, or if you can video something, but I'm just saying, but that statute does exist.
Okay.
If they were on top of if the dog comes on your dog, you can't get them off, and the owner's not around, then
sure.
By statute, you have.
Beat it with a stick.
So.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay, well, how do we want to proceed with this?
My suggestion would be, if you want to, at the end, do an executive session, we can communicate as a board and meet, and where I've been, what I've done. So you all are up to speed. I don't feel at this point it's public air.
Okay.
It's not really necessary. The information that you guys should receive.
Executive motion under PSA 1733.
So how do we?
That's my suggestion.
Okay. Can we call an executive session now?
Is all the rest of the agenda complete?
This is the last thing.
Okay.
Okay, so Andy and Laura, thank you for
I haven't
coming.
heard a vote yet.
That's correct.
You have to make a motion.
Aye.
We made a motion.
To go into executive session, pursuant to what statute? This one here? 20 VSA section 34I46, to discuss the domestic dog complaint and invite Warren and Connie to join us.
Second.
Okay, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Our executive session had no resolution, so shall we move and close the meeting?
Yes.
Motion
Yes.
to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn second, and all those in favor?
Aye.